guys. So y'all are well into your projects. You're doing a great job. I hope you're enjoying the class. I'm so impressed with some of the stuff you guys have done. Very good, very professional. Um, we're going to talk about this screencast, and the next one's going to talk about things that are going to help you understanding your customer, your consumer, and then understanding how to segment your market. Things that you're going to have to do for your project. So for this thing, a couple things. The first thing is we want to understand what process people go through to where they get involved in sport, and how does that influence what their decisions are. We want to understand the different factors that influence involvement in sport. And we also want to start to recognize strategies that we can do as marketers to respond to the various factors that customers show us. So in a nutshell, here's kind of the process. People become socialized to sport, they become involved in sport, and then they become committed to sport. And we'll go in depth about each of these. So socialization is a real simple process, guys. It's basically where individuals learn to interact with each other, to develop skills, knowledge, maybe how to use equipment, and how to interact in a social type of setting. Um, it's also kind of an involvement between an individual and an environment. So in sport, a couple of different deals. The ESPN effect. Well, a lot of times people become familiar with a team or a player by watching ESPN. Um, Maybe their friends and family influence them. Maybe they go to school because their dad went to that school, or they like a school because their dad liked that school, or their mom liked that school. And then sometimes people interact with coworkers. They call it cooler talk, where people talk about what they saw the night before, talk about how bad the Braves are, how good the Falcons are doing, and you know what I'm saying. The involvement's a couple of different things. Um, Behavioral part is the hands-on experience of sport. This is what you did as youth sport, recreation. Is what you're doing now, those of you who are still playing. The cognitive part is basically learning about the sport, getting knowledge of it. You can do it through watching TV, through research, through learning rules. And then the affective part of involvement is kind of your attitude, your emotion towards sport. Um, Kind of like those of you who get really emotional about watching, some, specific movie, or there's something that gets you really fired up about watching some, certain event. Um, the commitment part of it's a little different. It's the kind of how frequent, the duration, the intensity a person shows towards sport. So the more committed somebody is, the more willing they are to spend money, time, energy on sports. So for instance, if you really like the Braves, then you're going to buy season tickets. You're committed to them. It's real critical that we learn to understand where everybody is with regards to their commitment, and try to find products and ways to deliver those products to people based on their commitment level. And the ultimate goal is to get them to be a loyal consumer of your product or your team. Um, so we're on influences of on PSI. Okay, so you got to understand that it's critical for every sport organization to understand what influences them. It's being able to interact between those influences, and there's two major ones. There's the environment that can influence, and there's the individual factors. So within your environment, here are some things that um, can dictate to you how you interact with sport. Your significant others. You know, do you make your decisions about going to a sport based on a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a colleague, a significant other? Because they go, you go. Is it a cultural thing? Understand, for me, I was raised in the South. I bleed SEC football. Okay, and so that's the culture I've been raised in. Maybe it's your social class. Do you know, certain sports lend themselves to people who make certain amounts of money. Golf is seen sometimes as a rich sport. Um, you know, it just depends. Just understand that your social class can have a little bit, and then ethnicity. Certain sports lead themselves to more to not that one ethnicity or one race is better than the other, but that certain sport or certain races are prone to be exposed to different sports. Is the other word saying it, a way of saying it. Gender. Um, different men and women look at sport different ways. Maybe the climate, where you're at. So obviously surfing's a big deal in Hawaii. Well, we're not doing much surfing in Georgia. Um, technology. Do you interact? Do you play fantasy football? Do you interact with Twitter, with Facebook when it comes to sport? Um, behaviors within your market. Are there trends that you need to know about? Are your competitors, rolling out different products, doing different pricing? Um, and then is there an opportunity for you to be able to maybe change your structure to segment different ways to take advantage of these fans? This is pretty funny. Climate and geography, so you can look. We live down here in the pigskin cult, but you'll get a kick out of looking at that. The second thing that deals with PSI is individual factors. So your self-esteem, your self-confidence, how self-confident people look at sport a different way. Okay, what stage of life are you in? Obviously, I can't spend as much time fooling with sport now as I did when I was young because I have a family. Physical characteristics. You know what? Maybe you didn't get involved in the sport because of a certain physical deal. If somebody's in a wheelchair, may be drawn to playing wheelchair type sports. Learning. Did you have an opportunity to learn from others about sport? Um, what perception are you getting? Are you listening to fans? Are they making you, are you listening to me when I tell you the Braves stink? Are you in your heart of heart know you're a Braves fan? Do you have any motivation to come out and spend money? And then your attitudes, this idea of virgin and Corfin. Virgin means basking in reflected glory. That's what the BIRG stands, meaning that if Tennessee beats Georgia this weekend and I'm going to come in with a Tennessee shirt on Monday, I'm basking in reflected glory. Okay? And then it works the opposite way. If they lose, then I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to mope around and pout. Some things about applied motivation. These are just things that that you need to understand just about how people interact with sport in general, why they might interact, why it gives them motivation. It can improve their self-esteem. If you root for a team, you're part of a team, and you're fired up about that team winning. Maybe it's your craft. Okay, maybe you're a golfer and you interact with sport because you're developing a skill. Maybe it's because you like the exercise of playing it. Maybe it's fun. You like doing the promotions and stuff around it. Maybe it's about attraction. You like being around, looking at the men and women who play the sports. Maybe it's you have an affiliation with a part of the community. You're a group member. You go to a church that interacts with sport. So there's all these things going on. Maybe it's an escape for you. You just like the game. You're trying to get away, for entertainment purposes. And so understand that it's a really competitive market. You got to develop, be able to understand your customers and then segment them, which is what we're going to talk about next. And that creates an opportunity for you to deliver a marketing plan that's tailored for that customer. All right, so the next video will talk